Nick Bobrov.
Yeah.
If I'm pronouncing his name.
Okay.
Bobrov.
Nick
Yeah.
Bobrov.
That's a good point.
Somebody
He's a scout.
who wants
He's a scout.
to take over. Nick
Yeah.
Bobrov. Where was he born? Who does he have connections
No.
with?
He's very closely linked to St. Petersburg for sure.
Oh.
KHL.
And so is his father.
And he's our Canadian scout for the Russians.
So is his father, Sergei Bobrov. Go, Chris.
Yeah.
Go, Chris.
Yeah.
I see you salivating off the mouth.
Well, because I've been waiting to say Nick Bobrov's name for a handful of minutes now. And it happened recently. Pardon my lack of knowledge on this front for the player's name, but there was a contract in the KHL that just got cut so that the player could come and play in the NHL in North America. It's happened. Yeah,
but he's not a number one fucking pick, dude.
He's not a number one pick. Absolutely
That's a
not.
big
but
difference.
It just goes in the past week. Nevertheless, the contract of a young player that has been drafted, his contract got cut within the KHL so that he could come here to play in North America. If Nick Bobrov, with the connections that he has, can negotiate terms for Michkov to come play here, that could be a game changer. The relationship that guy has in comparison with, I can't say that any of the other top 5 teams have that type of relationship with the particular team that Michkov is playing for. That could be a huge, huge advantage for the Montreal Canadiens. If I might go on a little bit of a monologue over here because these have been a few thoughts that have been piling up. I think Michkov. I'll start off by even saying this before I get to them. If you look at the teams, Bedard is going first. Anaheim is in dire need of a centerman. That's Fantilli. And then what is the likelihood that both Will Smith and Carlson, what is the likelihood that they slide down? I think we have to look at this realistically.
Yeah, we do.
I think there's a good chance that we're staring Michkov in the face at number 5 and he's still on the board. Well, the other thing too.
Yeah, go.
Now coming to Montreal. Montreal is a lot more similar to Russia than any of the American cities that he'd be going to. I think he wouldn't get as harsh of a clash of a culture clash coming here to Montreal to play for the Canadiens. I think he would actually be well surrounded and feel a lot more like he was at home over here. The political tension is not the same between Canada and Russia and USA and Russia, so that's a lot easier for him to come here. And I'm hoping, I'll wrap it up on this, I'm truly and genuinely hoping these poor Russian kids are paying for the fucking political mistakes of other men and people across the globe. These athletes have been out of the limelight. We haven't got to see any of the Russian players. We haven't got to see anything since the previous World Junior Championships or the previous competitions that they partook in. Pray to God that the fact that Michkov was out of sight, out of mind, that this kid has continued to develop and continued to be the same, I guess, talent that rivaled Bedard's talent, that he drops down to 5 and we have that opportunity to draft him, because I think we might be able to look back years from now and go, holy fucking shit, we got lucky that these players were not seen. We got lucky that these players weren't scouted, and we ended up getting possibly the equivalent of the number 1 pick just because he wasn't known and he wasn't necessarily approachable, whereas we had the fucking inside track with Bobrov. That's where I'm going to stop talking.
I think so too.
But he's definitely going to look into that. Kent Hughes is definitely going to.
Well, I think that's sure. Let's go back to what you were saying before about Chicago and Bedard. The parents doing their due diligence before picking him or going to Chicago. I think Kent Hughes is going to be doing that. Like, if Michkov is available at number 5, and we had the opportunity to get him. Now, Sam, you brought up a very good point before in regards to this player playing another 3 more years in the KHL. Coming to the NHL at 21, already getting developed that way, without us rushing players. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's already a big plus, and that's the long-term stuff that Kent Hughes was talking about. I want to find a player for the long-term process.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
These guys are going to be already 3 years with, again, not NHL experience, but 3 years extra of KHL work.
It's the second best hockey league in the world.
Exactly. So imagine this guy coming at 21, ready to play. maybe one more year left of NHL experience, and that guy is a superstar at 22 years old. So to me, getting Michkov is a big plus. Now, again, not to talk political or whatever, but I think that's something that Hughes is going to be looking into, right?
For sure.
I want to make sure, because there was talks that KHL and NHL wanted to cut all Russian players coming to the league, right? There was that whole suspension of the KHL and, cutting all Russian players coming to an NHL. That was a big talk last year. Mm-hmm. And it's still a potential situation that could happen. And that's something that could screw over Michkov, because imagine we're in a deep draft. We're in a deep draft right now. We're number 5. And you go waste it on a player that might not come.
Kent's going to lose his job. I'll tell you that.
He's not going to lose his job.
He's going to lose his job.
But what I'm trying to say is that imagine you have an opportunity to pick up Smith or Carlson or Dvorsky. Okay, all these guys available, and then you go choose a player that might never play again, and it would suck, right? I think that's the only the doubt that we have for Michkov is because of all that's happening. Not with the Russian war. That's one thing, the Russia and all that war, but it's also the whole, debate of NHL suspending Russian players. That was a whole big debate last year.
Go, Chris. The one I just want to jump in because I'm going to say with confidence that never happens. And the reason why I say it with confidence is right off the bat, players like, and I'm going to name one player, Alex Ovechkin stops everything that he's doing and he goes back home. If the fucking league, pardon me for even, I hate just throwing the word out, but if the NHL were willing to perform an act of racism, because it's really you're just going against Russian players. If they are willing to go that far, these star Russian players in this league, they are all gonna fucking drop like this. I do not see them accepting that, tolerating that. I do not see organizations allowing that to happen. And as much as it's a discussion, I don't see it ever happening because of the consequences and the fallout that they're going to be having with a number of current players that have a huge impact on their respective teams. I mean, Kucherov, Ovechkin's on the verge of fucking doing getting a scoring record. Yeah. Malkin, there are so many players that are just, you have Bobrovsky. I know he's a little bit older. He's not They're fucking gone. They're fucking gone. And that's why, maybe it was something that was discussed.
Panarin?
Never will that happen, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
And I hope it doesn't happen. And we all hope it doesn't happen. But
I just hope it's just politics. It's just talking, I hope.
But that's what I think this is, because then we all heard he is going to be, Michkov is going to be present at the draft.
Yeah. What does that mean? That's what I want to ask you guys. What do you think?
I think.
What do you look into that? That he's going to be present? That he says he's going to be present. What does that give you in terms of hope?
That means he's going to be eligible to play in the NHL one day when his. In theory, his KHL contract comes to an end. And listen,
didn't Romanov have a similar contract situation?
Romanov came when his contract was done.
That's it. He was 21, I think, too, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Let me ask you guys this: do you really think Minnesota cares that Kirill Kaprizov spent 6 years in the KHL once he was drafted? He spent 6 years in the KHL,
and now how many points
to the NHL? He put up over 100 points last year. Do you really think Minnesota
6 years though?
By it? Man. I get 6 years is a long. He was drafted.
We're not waiting 6 years, buddy.
Okay, I understand. There's the difference between 6 and 3. You're reducing in half. Kaprizov, 5th round pick. Michkov, potential 2nd overall between 2 and 5. I get it. There's a massive difference.
And there's also you got to also think about, again. Let's stop talking about this whole political stuff for a second or forever. But also, we got to think about Hughes's vision for this team, right? Do they want to win the cup in 5-6 years, or do they want to win it earlier? Do they want to wait the 3 years for Michkov? Do they want to start developing the team now to win the cup in 5 years, not without waiting for Michkov? Things like that. You got to that also plays into a big factor for his.
I think he fits in. He fits in the time frame.
Yeah,
I think he fits in 3 years. In 3 years, we're all going to be expecting Canadians to be making the playoffs.
Give me the 5'10" Russian any day of the week. I will say this: he has the closest talent to Bedard, and I heard even, I don't know if it was Bobrov or somebody close to him. I read today that they even called him the Russian Bedard.
Yes.
When I hear that, if those words are uttered anywhere from a scout, I can't see how you pass up on the guy.
Joe, so speaking of Bobrov, we mentioned it earlier with Zook when he was here, until then he just fucking disappeared. But Nick Bobrov and his father Sergei, they have connections with St. Petersburg and their KHL team, the team that Michkov plays for. Do you not think that kind of plays a bit of in Montreal's favor compared to Anaheim?
Absolutely.
Columbus?
Did you know Sergei was a scout? Did you know Sergei was a scout?
Yes.
He stopped I think it was just a few years ago.
2017 or 2018.
Yeah. So that will definitely help again if he's there. But my only worry, and I'll keep saying it, is if they pass up on him due to the contract situation. I think with Bobrov,
I don't think so.
With Bobrov being a connection between St. Petersburg, Montreal, that's already a positive. It just, the passing up on him, I just think it might be a mistake because of his contract situation. Like I was saying, no top NHL Russian player has ever not complained. No top Russian prospect has ever not complained in the NHL. Yeah. Can you name me one that's highly, highly, highly touted that never came over? If there is, it isn't many, because Radulov had problems. Kovalchuk, yes, I know he went back, but this guy came over. You have Ovechkin, you have Malkin, you have Kaprizov. It took time, but he came.
6 years. We said that.
Panarin, same thing. Now, at his age, 18 years old, he has outscored Ovechkin. So Ovechkin is actually second in the list for points per game. He was outscored by Michkov. Is Michkov going to be Ovechkin? No. But the guy has ability to not put up 40, but 50 goals. I'm sorry. If you pass that up for Dvorsky, who apparently they're saying is a very good player.
He's very good, but I don't think his long-term potential is as much as Michkov.
Exactly. Same with, I've heard good things about Ryan Leonard. Leonard is the teammate of Will Smith, which I've heard has done really well on his line. Yeah. He's kind of been overshadowed by Smith, but they're saying he might be the real guy on that line. Who knows? But I'm sorry, if it's a case of the war and of the contract situation, you pass up that talent. Who cares if we wait 3 years? Who cares? If everyone's picturing we're getting Dubois, you're not getting Dubois for another 2 seasons.
I personally don't think the 3 years of that contract is a factor. I think exactly. again, not that we're repeating things, but you just jumped on, Joel. So I said it actually plays within Kent Hughes' timeline of building this team.
Yes, I sent you guys the age today. I know, Chris, you didn't see it, but the age of our players now are all going to be in their prime. Even if you get Dubois, they'll all be in their prime when Michkov comes over at 21. You have Caulfield, Suzuki, 26, 27. Dubois, 27, 28. You're going to have Sarkowski, 22 years old. This is going to fit the timeline. You're going to have Mayu, Lane Hudson. This fits perfectly, and you're going to have a guy who has a shot like Ovechkin. I've never think I could dream about somebody having a shot like Ovechkin playing for Montreal. So to me, if you pass that up for somebody for a safer pick, I don't know. I'll always like what Hughes has done, but if he doesn't,
but I don't think. But Joe, for you to say you're not gonna be happy with Hughes, it's fine
with that pick, not in general. I'm just saying with that
pick. But I think, again, if this was Bergevin passing on that, then yes, I'm on your side. With the trend of Bergevin and making stupid decisions like that, then yes, I agree with you. But I think Hughes is such a smart guy that we were talking about this earlier. Like, he's gonna do his due diligence before making any decision. So if Michkov is available at number 5, I think his decision is based on his due diligence. If he passed on that, it's because he has a valid reason for it. meaning he knows something more than what we don't know. So we were saying earlier today, before that 3 years is not an issue, because I think those 3 years benefits the Montreal Canadiens, because with our history of rushing players, and sorry to our listeners out there who hear a repeat here, it's only because Joey wasn't here before, so I'm just repeating what we said before, is those 3 years playing extra in the KHL is taking away from us, our organization, rushing a player like we always did. So imagine, and you said it before, imagine Michkov coming at 21 years old after playing an extra 3 years in the KHL and coming into a team that has Caulfield at 26, 27, all these guys at an experienced thing. It fits the timeline 120%, and I would love to have Michkov on our team.
Let me extend an olive branch to you. As soon as he comes in, you give him 3 years at an entry-level contract of paying him just under $1 million at 21 years old.
And then at 24,
we're talking about Caulfield right now at that age, at the age of 21, 22, and we're like, oh my God,
exactly,
8 million, 9 million, getting 10.
And let's just say hypothetically it works out at 24, you sign him to a long-term deal, you got the guy until his 30s. So it works perfectly. My worry, Anthony, is he says he wants to do his due diligence characteristic. What if he doesn't want to? What if Hughes doesn't want to deal with the stress of bringing him over? Not that he say he can't. What if he's just nervous about doing it? That's the worry I have. That is.
I think. No, I think
Nick Bobrov. It'll all fall onto his shoulders. Kent is just going to be like, not my problem. Here you go, Nick.
So literally for this pick to work out, Nick Bobrov is the key.